Okay.
I thought that's what we did.
Forgot about that part.
Literally just played it.
Oh, no way. Oh my god! No way! Oh my god!
Gross. That's the worst.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 109 of 1 million of the Serial Chillers podcast. As always, I ask, how goes it, Hella Greg? I know
It's
I
tou-
traumatized you.
I was gonna say it's tough now that I'm like in charge of my own buttons and stuff. But other than that, good.
You gave me responsibilities.
Yeah. What do you want me to be, a productive member of this team? Fuck off.
And really quickly, we'll introduce the guests today, Dustin and Ashley. Hi, guys.
Hi.
All right, we'll talk to you in a moment. Give me a second here. Most of you guys know how the show works, but let me explain it for anybody that doesn't. Each week, I sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends to tell the story of an infamous serial killer, something true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious. If something isn't clear, be sure to chime in, because if you have questions about questions, be sure to ask questions, because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never ask questions. Are there any questions?
No, sir.
I just feel like being extra creepy at the beginning.
No.
You're doing a great job.
Well, then, welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. Okay. Today's killer. Tell me, have you guys heard of Robert Pickton?
Yep.
No.
Dustin's like, oh, I'm feeling familiar. So, as a lot of you guys will know, listening out there, we are going to be rehashing some of the old episodes that you can no longer listen to. So if subjects seem familiar, that's exactly what's happening. But trust me, I put a little more oomph into these episodes because those were early and those were bad. So, question number 1. In what year was Robert Pickton born? 250 points to the closest. 1,000 points if you can nail it. Dustin says 1938. Ashley says 1962. Give Dustin 250 points because Robert Willy Pickton is born October 24th, 1949 in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia.
I will
That's
do
right.
no such thing as give him points.
Canadian serial killer, y'all. All right, now that our Jeopardy moment is over, I'd like to talk to these guests for a moment here. Both of them have been on the show before. You've seen neither of them because they're both new to that. Welcome, Dustin
Hi.
and Ashley.
Hi.
How are you guys?
We're good.
Doing good.
You guys ready to duke it out here? Is there like a divorce on the line or anything?
No. As
Duke it
you-
out like it's a fist fight because I'm going to win this shit.
Have you seen how big I am?
No divorce. You know, you married us about a few months ago. But we
all looked hella dope that day.
hella dope. But we've got this one out tonight. He thinks he's gonna win every time, so I'm gonna try and beat him this time.
I think one time Dustin was on for an Ed Gein episode, and I thought about it like 2 questions in. I was like, why did I bring him onto this episode? Like this
Well, you
motherfucker.
brought
Like,
Casey too, and Casey knew everything about him.
yeah, maybe that's why.
Do
I
you
did
ask
it.
questions that I didn't know about him?
Maybe I just gave you, because I remember I asked for the birth year and you were all like, you gave birthday. I was like, oh shit, dude. Okay, well, we'll give you the points. Good God, write it down. I said though. All right, so guys, welcome. Good to
Thank
have you
you.
back.
Thank you.
Nothing new about the studio. Only thing new is that we can see your goddamn faces now. Let's see here. So really quickly, references and citations for this episode. I used the book On the Farm by Stevie Cameron. It is fucking amazing. Like,
Who doesn't love a good barnyard book?
Well,
Charlotte's
listen.
Web, Animal Farm.
Babe.
Love Charlotte's Web.
Generally, when I read a true crime book, it's like the most dragging, dry, God damn it, I just need the information piece of shit book. This was kind of a pleasure to read. It was nice. So if you guys are looking for something...
He spun a good yarn.
Yeah, she.
She spun a good yarn. My mistake.
But
They spun a good
How many
yarn.
pages do we got in this
It's
one?
a big one. It's that fat one behind Bernie right
Oh,
there.
no.
Thanks for noticing.
Nope. I'm glad we have the cliff notes today.
Yeah, but it is a Patreon level at $20 to receive a true crime book out of our library. So
Could
if
be
you
this
guys-
one.
If you give it $20
Oh.
level, you could be the lovely recipient of the book
Love
On
it.
the Farm by Stevie Cameron. I also use a documentary, The Pig Farmer Killer, put together by CTV, Canada Television, baby. And then The Pig Farm, which was directed by Malcom, Clarke. Which this one was very cool because it's probably the most recent Willy Pickton documentary, and I didn't bring any of the clips because none of them are incredibly important. But it's the first time I ever heard Willy Pickton's voice, and he sounds exactly like he looks, like a little Canadian man. That
Like a pig farmer.
yeah.
Like a pig farmer.
So and
There's some pig farmer out there who sounds exactly like Willy Pickton.
He's
who's
like, God damn
what
it,
the
I'm tired
hell?
of getting pigeonholed.
That happens on pig farms too.
So, those two documentaries, and then as usual, the good old Wikipedia. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok. Both of those are at Serial Chillers Podcast. If you don't know by now, if you're listening to us on audio, there's a video version over on YouTube. That's also Serial Chillers Podcast, believe it or not. We've got a threadless store and a new sticker store. I'm not even going to tell you the links to them because you can just go to serialchillerspod.com now, and that has links to everything.
It's your one-stop serial chiller
Exactly.
shop.
Literally, when you type in serialchillerspod.com, every link you need to find anything we do is right there, including the threadless store, which now it's kind of separated. You guys will see in the threadless store is going to be all your soft goods, t-shirts, long sleeve tees, hoodies, all that good stuff. At our website, serialchillerspod.com, will be the hard goods. So right now it's just stickers. By the time you hear this, it might be more. The threadless
Merch.
store will have shirts. Yes, our website will have all the hard goods. Right now you can get stickers, but soon I think we're gonna have pint glasses, a couple of little things like that. So check it out, man. Additionally, the Patreon and the donation page. We have heard a few people that are just not incredibly comfortable with giving monthly to the show. Which, listen, we don't. Everything is.
I don't even give
appreciated.
monthly to the show.
Yeah, everything that you guys give
I
is
wouldn't.
incredibly appreciated, but none of it is we don't expect it. But with that, if giving monthly isn't your kind of thing and you do want to just give once, we have a donation page. You can also find that. You can find it from our Instagram's bio. It has our link tree, or just go to serialchillerspod.com. That works on your mobile device as well. And you guys can mail us stuff now. Please, no, what do you think? Like, no anthrax unless it's labeled.
In a sealed container.
If it's explosives, put like CC.
Care of Hella Greg.
Yeah, care of Hella Greg or like Bigfoot or something. You can send all that stuff to P.O. Box 1229, Clovis, California 93613.
Hope you wrote that down because you'll never hear it again.
Exactly.
Hey,
Or
so
just-
on the website is Greg's link tree on there with his Lonely Fans.
yeah, well,
link.
I'm working on it.
we're working on that part.
I'm still
Let
trying
me
to
know,
secure
Greg.
funding.
And again, if you guys
I'll
want
fund you.
anything, whoa. Well, just wait till we're not recording, baby. Actually, no, wait. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Again, serialchillerspod.com. Everything is there, top to
Yep.
bottom, and go to the very bottom. That's where the address is. So Greg's wrong. You don't have to write it down. All right, guys. Robert William Pickton, or Willy. I'm going to refer to him mostly as Willy. Sometimes I call him Robert when he's being an official gentleman.
Roberto.
Oh, Robert. He was from, Vancouver. They don't speak French there. Robert William Pickton is born October 24th, 1949. Oh, hey, almost happy birthday, you fucking asshole fuckface. Not by the time you guys hear this, sorry. Happy late birthday. He was born in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. His parents were Leonard and Louise Pickton. Leonard was born in 1896 and Louise in 1912. So like 16-year difference.
Lenny Pickton.
Oh, Lenny and Louise. He had an older sister, Linda, and a brother, Dave. His family were pig farmers. If you guys didn't catch that by every fucking documentary title and book title that we went into.
Just the
I
name
was
Willy
hoping one of the
Pickton.
questions was going to be what type of farmer was he? Because I had that shit.
Yeah.
Just the name Willy Pickton.
I
though,
learned
sounds
my
like
lesson about those questions because the 2 episodes ago I did a book as the reference that was like the killer's nickname. So I was like, I have a book. I can't tell you the title yet though. And it was like question 14 or some shit. So I just like
Couldn't say the name of the book till like the end of the episode.
And it was very hard. So yes, he's got an older sister. He's got a brother, Dave. They live on a pig farm. They raise and slaughter little baby curly tails. Actually, they're fucking
They're not
huge
babies.
ones.
They're
I was
babies.
gonna say, don't they
Yeah,
wait till
no,
they're
they-
full grown? That
Oh,
seems more
yeah,
productive.
they do, but it's not as Decadent. Delicious. So it was initially a 40
Wait, is
acre...
pig veal a thing?
Yes.
Is it? I was just kidding.
I don't know.
So it was initially a 40-acre swampland, and they paid to have their house moved to it. That's called a trailer.
He fucking moved to the swamp.
In 1940,
Yeah,
49,
so
then yeah, they just.
He said, "You know what? You know what? Outside our front door needs fucking alligators."
I don't know
And a
how
bunch
many
of pigs.
alligators are in Vancouver, though.
It's a swamp. They're everywhere.
Yeah, just the skeeters. So when you see pictures of the property, we'll show you guys some on break or something because we don't really have a slideshow for you. What do I look like, a goddamn school teacher?
Get in there a little closer.
What are you looking at, Greg?
Get your shit together.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was trying to look to see how.
Sorry. Yeah, I get a little distracted sometimes. Okay, so when you see pictures of the property later, like after Willy's caught, it still looks like a fucking swampland. It's like a place with no drainage. It's like, think about like going out to a house in the Clovis country where they have dirt roads and it just rained. It's just fucking slush and just gross. This whole property looks like that, and then it has buildings and pigs on it. It's real gross. So the
Kind of
boys,
like how where I grew up.
yes, the boys worked on the farm. The sister was sent to Vancouver to live with relatives.
Vancouver.
So the mom and dad were like, "Oh, a pig farm's no place for a little girl. She's gonna go live in Vancouver." And Canadians, listen, this is endearing. Don't hate me. So it's not a place for a little girl. They send Linda away. It's pretty much the last time we're going to talk about Linda until way down the road here. Believe it
Lucky
or not,
her.
there's a killer in this story, and
Lucky
no one's
her.
going to expect it. Yeah, exactly. So the boys worked very hard, and their mother was known to be quite a tyrant. What? She had a distinct, high-pitched, squealing voice when yelling for the boys, and it was not just her property her voice carried to. Yes, this mother was so annoying that her annoying voice carried off their annoyingly large 40-acre property, and the annoying neighbors recall hearing it. Apparently, the boys were rarely bathed and even required to... Their mom never made them fucking take a bath. They never bathed on their own.
Live on a pig farm.
Don't, just wait.
Oh my God, could you imagine? My mom used to say to me all the time, "What's the matter with you? Were you born in a barn?
Yeah, right.
Like your
born in
room's a
barn.
pigsty." This kid was probably born in a barn, and his room was literally a pigsty.
And his mom still said that shit.
Yeah, that's still some mom shit.
I
but
doubt it.
Just listen up, buddy.
Oh,
Just listen
wait, you
up.
mean she's not a super great lady?
So rarely bathed, rarely asked to bathe. This would lead to some weird phobias later in life for Willy. I'll just tell you now, he didn't like to shower, even as an adult. The
Who
Pickton
does? You gotta
home-
stand there and shit.
The Pickton home was actually even
You're on
open to animals to go in and out of. So the house is open to the pigs. It's not just like, hey, our house is on a pig farm and we smell like pigs because we go out with pigs. No. The pigs just they go in and out.
We smell like pigs because pigs come in with
And
us.
I don't know if you know this about pigs. They don't go, oh, I should go shit outside. They just kind of shit wherever they shit when they
Yeah.
need to shit.
I honestly thought when you said, I don't know if you know this about pigs, I thought you were going to say some shit like, you know how cows can't go downstairs?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that about pigs. And so like that.
Once they're in, buddy.
Yeah, like they're like vampires. Like, I don't know if you know this about pigs, but they can't come in unless they're invited. So they had to be invited.
And once they're in, they got to be bacon or ham before they leave.
Yeah, like I just
Pork belly.
I expected that, and you surprised me when you said they shit it where they want. Like,
But-
yeah, they're pigs.
Same thing with like horses, goats, pigs. Obviously, they don't.
Any
They
animal.
don't have
Just none of those are as delicious as
a
pig.
rectile.
Well,
So,
those IKEA meatballs are pretty good.
so we're thinking like sometimes it's like you've been to someone's house who you're like, why is there dog shit like on the floor? We're over here, man. Like, pick up your dog shit. This is just a house full of pig shit. So, think about that one. So the Pickton home where they eat, sleep.
Go ahead and have a seat wherever. Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
I literally can't.
I can't. That is correct. The Pickton home where they eat and sleep is home to not only their smelly asses, but some actual fucking smelly ass pigs. The boys were known as the smelly kids at school, believe
That's
it or not. They smelled like livestock and manure, as well as the fat from the animals in the slaughterhouse. And that was stuck in their poorly washed or not washed at all clothes. Apparently, their mom washed clothes by rinsing it in cold water in the sink. That was
Just
it.
Hanging it up to dry.
No soap.
smelling like shit
I don't know
and
if
tallow.
here's a little thing about grease. You kind of need the soap to separate it out.
Yes.
Or
Or
at
else
least
you just-
at least hot enough water to boil it off.
Yeah, you're just soaking it in grease water. You're like, now your grease is evenly coated. Go stand near the fireplace, Willie.
But now you have soup.
I want some long pork. Oh,
You say
gross.
now you have soup.
Yeah, they don't sound like
Good
they're,
soup.
They don't sound like they're doing real
good
well.
soup.
Maybe shirt soup is all they had.
I call it hot ham water. So yeah, the boys are the smelly kids. They smell like pig.
Smell like shirt soup.
They smell like living pig. They smell like shirt soup. They smell like pig fat and blood and pig shit. Yeah.
Yummy.
I'd like to think that I wasn't a bully, but I think I would have bullied these kids.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there. Their most of the way through school, they are they fly under the radar pretty well. Dave a little more because he can like talk to humans. Willie, not really that into it. Willie's not so.
What did he talk to?
He's certified weirdo, bro.
Oh.
Certified weirdo.
I would have talked to him.
I don't know. You couldn't get close enough. At school, the kids began to call Willie names. One name in particular stood out. Question number 2. What nicknames do the kids at school give Willie? Is it A, smelly poo, B, pig farts, C, stinky piggy, or D, smelly swine? Smelly poo, pig farts, stinky piggy, or smelly swine? Ashley says stinky piggy, and so does Dustin. Give them both points. 250 points to the each of you because he became known as Stinky Piggy. How fucking cute, dude!
I didn't know we were going to do multiple choice. I made my own up. I said wiggly piggly.
Wiggly Piggly. You're pretty close. But I award you 0 points for your original answer.
So everybody gets 250?
250 for
mine is
everybody. So yes, he became known as Stinky Piggy. His brother didn't have much of an easier time, but he didn't land a sweet fucking nickname like that. So Dave's ability to actually talk to people gave him a slight advantage. Nevertheless, there were many days that the boys would pretend to go to school and hide under their beds in a day of silence. So, like, look, I did my fair share of not going to classes I was supposed to go, but I, hung out at Jared and Curtis's house because their parents weren't there. I didn't, hide under my bed, nose to the bottom of it, and just go I'm just going to lay here for 7 hours. It's fine.
Your brother laying on the other side of the room. Shut the fuck up. If you get us in trouble, I will kick your fucking ass.
Also, just imagine your mom's walking through the house just talking mad shit on her kids the whole day.
Finally, those dirty ass kids are gone. God, they
Pieces of
fucking
shit.
smell.
I'm going to take a shower. They don't even know we have running water.
Today, those are called mental health days.
I was just going to say, I don't see anything wrong with taking a day off and spending it in complete silence. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
From under the bed?
Well,
Yeah, I
wherever
would-
it feels comfortable. You know
I
how
would
some
hope.
people need weighted blankets to, be comfortable? I feel like that's the same kind of thing.
Who you calling out, Greg?
Myself?
I don't know that they were...
That's sick self-burn.
Me too.
Oh, those are rare. I don't necessarily know that they were comfortable as much as they just didn't want to get called Stinky Piggy and poked in the face and
No, I know.
"Hey, you
I-
smell like a fucking asshole, literally.
Just trying to put a positive spin on their shit
yeah,
life.
I get it. Don't worry about it. You don't need to. Due to having a mother who However, due to having a mother who prioritized the real pigs over her stinky piggies, and a father who was so
No.
highly abusive yet incredibly absent despite being present all of the time. So,
That's really
write
sad.
that one down.
So he's there, but
He's
just
there
not
always.
engaging.
Not engaging unless he's kicking their ass.
And the mom's there and cares about the pigs more than
Oh, yeah.
the
She doesn't give a
children.
shit about this.
Well, I can
They're
tell you
farm
this right
hands
now:
to her.
kids
They're-
don't make you money, but pigs will.
Truth. Yeah, they're farm hands. They wake up in the morning, they slop the pigs. They come home from school, they slop the pigs. They do the work on the farm. If I'm not mistaken, they grew pumpkins and some other stuff out there too. So they do some other agriculture. And
Dang, dude, just start feeding the pigs cinnamon, nutmeg, and pumpkins, and then you can
get
have
pumpkin
your
spice bacon
yeah,
at the end
pumpkin
of the year.
spice bacon at the end of the year. That
Fuck
fucks, dude.
yeah, dude. I'm down for that.
Hell yeah.
I don't care
I mean,
how
I-
basic bitch I am. Pumpkin spice is delicious, and you can all shut the fuck
Yeah, I don't give a shit about pumpkin spice, but I could sell that.
Bacon pumpkin spice latte.
Listen.
Sell that and get a house that
It's
doesn't
worth
just have
a
a
try.
giant doggy door.
You at least get a 1-season run on it, okay?
Starbucks is going to steal that shit now.
Yo, pumpkin spice
patent
bacon
pending.
sandwiches.
Patent pending.
I said it first.
So, let's see. Willie is not really doing so well in school. So if you could imagine that, the kid who would rather hide under a bed all day than go to school showed a low aptitude for education. Who would have thought? He floated through school, mostly unnoticed, other than his stench. He worked hard on the farm and did odd jobs around the farm and in town. He saved what little money he could to get a special little treat for himself. Question number 3. What did he purchase with that money? Was it A, a motorcycle, B, a calf, C, a butcher's toolkit, or D, his own shed?
I'm so moving out of here.
Motorcycle, calf, butcher's toolkit, his own shed. Both of you say a butcher's toolkit. You guys look so stupid right now. Because with his money, he was able to buy his own calf. Cute little baby.
He was for calf.
Sick of being a pig farmer. I'm going to go be a cow farmer.
He was for calf.
Listen, it's not that endearing for long because he was able to buy his own calf and became very close to it. At this point, he is fairly young. He's like 10 or 11. He's maybe early teens. And he loves this cow like someone would love a dog. Aww. And he comes home after school. He dotes upon the cow. He spends a lot of time with it. His brother even said he might have like talked to the cow. I talk to my dog all the fucking time. So I get this. But it's almost like he finally found someone that returned the love that he wanted to give because his mom wasn't doing that shit. His dad wasn't doing that. And, you know, like he finally found an outlet for that. One day after a particularly shitty day at school, Willy could not find his calf and asked his mother where it was. His mother very harshly told him to check the barn for no reason other than to possibly torture her son because when he arrived to the barn, he saw his calf had been slaughtered by his father. It was hanging from one of the racks just as Willy walked in.
No.
Fuck yeah, bro.
No.
I mean, like that makes the end of Old Yeller sound like a nice book. Like,
and the calf hadn't even like grown to cow size.
No. And
it was
he
just
spent
like
all of his money on it. It was his thing to deal with. It was his thing to take care of.
it was his little buddy.
Yeah, his
That's
dad
exactly it.
Didn't have a right to do anything.
No, but they did, you know.
I get where this is going.
Oh, you think? You think you know?
No, I don't.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. There's going to be some murders involved.
I figured.
Helen Smith, a forensic psychologist, said that losing the calf could have been a large turning point for Willy that even could have had such a negative effect that Willy believed... Fucking goddamn, I'm a terrible writer and reader. She believes that this was such a negative point in Willy's life that he would no longer completely believe in humans or trust them anymore. It crushed him completely. Like, yeah, if my dad killed my dog, it would probably be the same. But imagine if your dad killed your dog, took all the good meat out of it, put the rib up, hung it up in front of you, and was just like, yeah, look, it's right there. What do you mean, where's your dog? It's right here, man.
Enjoy.
And then beat the shit out of you and then not talk to you for 2 months?
Well, is that what happened next?
No, that's just like how his dad was. He was just like either abusive or not talking to him.
That's so sad.
That's life.
It's almost like he didn't stand a chance.
Yeah?
Yeah, correct.
I say that a lot. So, yeah, listen. Again, if you were to hear that your parent killed your pet, it might ruin you forever. If you were to hear that your parent killed your pet and then you also just saw that pet separated into delicious beef patties and steaks.
Yeah, I was going to say we're forced to eat that pet.
Yeah, if you had to eat it. I mean, I understand, like, the chickens, like, if people know, like, they get raised, so, you know, they tell them, you know, these chickens are going to feed us, they give us eggs, and then eventually we'll eat chicken. I understand being raised like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can hear all the country kids right now being like, obviously you never grew up on a farm, you just eat the animals on the farm. Like, I get that.
Yeah, he did not buy this calf for that purpose.
Yeah, this was not a family purchase.
Yeah, and he bought it
I'd be
himself.
like, where the fuck is dinner at?
Yeah.
Of course.
That's because you can't form emotional bonds.
So listen, in 1963, at the age of 14, he quit school unexpectedly to nobody. Honestly,
nobody was surprised.
And took a full-time apprenticeship. Could this be a possible way for him to get away from his family, or would he dive deeper into his family business? Question number 4, what industry did Willy get a full-time apprenticeship in? Was it A, as a butcher? That's the obvious answer, guys. Was it B, as a welder? C, construction? Or D, a plumber? What's that? A, butcher. B, welder. C, construction. D, plumber.
A plumber is...
I just looked it up.
Somebody who
can't do that shit.
Who plows with wood.
I mean, she can. It will get you nowhere to have the same answer as him.
It's not. Yeah, it's not going to help you make up any
Listen,
ground.
Put down the answer you want. Do it right now. Okay, Dustin's got his. Ashley, you do whatever answer you want. I don't want to influence your answer at all. Okay. Ashley says D. Dustin says A. So that's plumber for Ashley, butcher for Dustin. It was the obvious answer. It was a butcher. Yes, he became a butcher's apprentice and proved to be very good at this job, almost as if he had some type of natural skill set.
It was a foresight.
Is that another 250 to Dustin?
That's another 250 points to Dustin.
Just give me 500.
No. Let me
Or
have
just
a
put
fighting
win.
chance.
Just put the word win, please. So yes, Willie became a butcher's apprentice. He's very good at it, oddly good at it for someone so new to it. Things start to seem like almost normal for him for a moment, for a while. He did this job for some time while still balancing his farm work along with his apprenticeship because he's still needed at the farm, as his mother reminded him nearly daily that it was his responsibility to keep the farm going after they were gone. What a fucking great mom. Like, hey, listen, I know you got a job, but after I'm gone, who's gonna run the farm?
The person who slaughtered my fucking pet.
Yeah.
That's who.
Be like, I would be like, I'm gonna slaughter all your
I
pigs.
thought they're from Canada. Why she sound like she's from Jersey?
Because she
She
had
is
a
from-
terrible squealy voice. I was just trying to...
Because that's how everybody sounds when
I'm
they talk.
sorry,
When they
I'm
become
sorry.
like that. When you have a lot of hate.
run this farm!
When you have a lot of hate in your heart, you start sounding like you're from New Jersey.
So let's see. On October 16th, 1967, Willie had another moment where he learned something from his mother. His brother, Dave Pickton, had just got his license and took the family truck out for a spin. It is unclear if this incident was an accident or a purposeful act of hate, but according to Willie, Dave accidentally struck a neighbor boy with the truck. He stopped and saw that the boy was hurt very badly, and he knew he couldn't do anything to immediately help, so he goes home and tells his mom about what happened. Question number 5. Louise Pickton went down to where the boy was hit. What did she do? Did she A, drive him to help immediately? B, shoot him in the head? C, call 911? Or D, push him into a ditch nearby? Drove him for help, shot him in the head, called 911, pushed him into a ditch. Dustin says called 911. Ashley says pushed him into a ditch nearby. She immediately advised... I'm gonna make you guys wait on this one. She immediately advised Dave to take the truck to the garage and have it repaired, and then she went to where she was told the boy would be, and there he was, a boy very near her boy's age, and she recognized him as one of the neighbor's sons. She knew the boy was still living, but would not make it unless he got immediate help and would likely die. So, Louise Pickton went back home, got the phone. No, I'm just kidding. She pushed him into a nearby ditch. Give Ashley 250 points. The boy, who could not move due to his injuries, went into the ditch, which happened to be filled with about 2 feet of water, in which the boy would
that's so
eventually
sad.
drown. The boy was discovered 2 days later, and although
Want to take back that celebration?
I know I shouldn't have said woo. I felt really bad
It's
about
really
that.
hard to say.
Throwing kids in ditches.
It's really hard to
Yeah.
say woo in the show and ever sound like it's good in context.
Yeah, no.
It's tough. It's tough. So,
I felt really bad about that one. But I just want to beat Dustin.
At
He's
Helical
always-
Smash. Check her out.
It's on the screen.
He always wins.
so what's the score right now?
750 to 500, Dustin.
It's one, and there's 9 questions left, or 10.
And a drawing.
Nope, drawing
If
only
you
if it's
tie.
a tie at the end.
And it might not be drawing. We'll see. It could be.
And we got to make it at a ticky-tack.
But I want to draw.
I'm making it
So-
charades.
Yeah, she said, take the truck down, get it repaired, like fucking now, please. Also, stay the fuck out of my hair. I got to push this kid into a ditch and drown his bitch ass. So the boys discovered 2 days later, and although it seemed as if it should be pretty clear that the Picktons were involved, everybody was cleared of any wrongdoing, and the incident was deemed an accident by police. In 1970, Willie quit his apprenticeship to work full-time back on the farm, where he claims that he was only 6 months away from becoming a full-time butcher and could have taken a job doing it anywhere. But due to his family, he would be guilted into the farm being his only option. It was said that he felt more safe at home, so this arrangement worked for him. He was the only one really left to do work anyway, because Dave was kind of out doing his own shit, because he's like talking to humans, able to do that. And Willie was also very connected to his mother, despite all that had happened and how she had treated him. He continued the normal farm work as well as adding one task where he would go to auctions, buy livestock that were ready to be slaughtered, and do just that. So he was no longer forming bonds with animals. He's buying them and
Would
taking
he
them.
save them or what?
Oh no,
That's
no.
not-
He was buying them and cutting them up real good. Like he's not trying to form any sort of
Bonds
with
anymore.
But is
anybody,
he? But is he like cutting them up and eating them, cutting them up and
No,
packaging
no,
them
it's
and
his
freezing
business.
and
They
stuff?
Yeah,
run
he's
a
selling.
they
Okay.
run a
Like a
pig business.
master-
Okay, so
butcher.
that's not that weird.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's weird. I'm saying this was his new job.
Well, and it's sad that he lost.
that he
the
did
bonds.
this.
Yeah.
But yes, exactly. That's what I guess I meant by like the traumatizing thing was like before he was involved in the slaughter business, he saw his calf buddy get slaughtered. So it seems like a weird
And then he
being a
goes-
butcher and then
yeah.
coming back. Yeah, I don't know.
He goes into this dark mode.
so-
It's therapy.
Yeah, I guess. All of the slaughtering work would take him to a rendering plant called West Coast Reduction outside of downtown Vancouver. They took all of the parts of the animal that wasn't used as food by the farms and turned it into other things like gelatin, dog and cat food, and farm animal food.
Fucking West Coast reduction. They're the guys that pimp your calf. Like they just like put TVs in your cow and stuff. Like,
No,
We heard
Are
you
you
like
talking about
milk, so we
nowadays?
put udders in your udder so you could udder while you udder.
yo, dog, we heard you like milkshakes, so we put a freezer system inside your cow so you can just get milkshakes straight from the cow.
You got a milk waterfall going down his back.
Nope, don't drink that. So, during his trips to West Coast Reduction, it brought him very near downtown Vancouver, like I said, specifically a neighborhood called Low Track that was called by the documentary, quote, the biggest concentration of human misery that exists in the developed world. So if you're looking for your next vacation destination, check out downtown Vancouver. This is the gathering place for sex workers, drug addicts, criminals, and homeless. Willie would go and find women who looked to be the most desperate and try to get with them. Like, these are sex workers. He's not just like going and picking up chicks here. But he would often claim that he wanted to get them off drugs and save them. I don't really go into all of his murders because there's quite a few, but one of his things was like he would save a woman to get her off drugs, and then the second she would get back on drugs, he would feel like justified in killing her, right? Because he's like,
would he feed them meat?
Maybe.
I have
Yes.
free meat.
I mean,
Free meat. Here you go.
The meat
Ooh,
was a
that's how you could catch me.
prevalent.
Here you go.
That's
Catch
that's
me.
absolutely how you'd catch me. A little van that
Here's
says
a-
free
here-
meat, just
here's
a
a
guy
steak.
handing out cold cuts.
Yeah.
You open your mouth, let me throw
Yeah.
the salami right at your face.
I'm in.
Yes, that's what Willy Pickton from Port Coquitlam, Canada sounds like.
You want some free meat?
Come and get it, kids.
I
Everybody
got a
just sounds like
vegetable
Jersey
peeler.
to
I'm
us,
just
I guess.
slicing it off.
You got that bacon? I'll be right there.
It's cooked too, kids. You won't get sick.
So, yeah, you guys, look, I don't know if downtown Vancouver still got a real fucked up spot like Low Track, but at this time,
Watch out for
I
free
think I
meat
have another
trucks.
quote in here, too, from like the local newspaper that described it as a very bad place to be, eh? So Willie would go there. He'd find women that looked most desperate. He would try to save them and, felt justified in his deal. A few years later, 1978, Willie's father is going to die of old age. It didn't seem to bother Willie too much because, the abuse and the absenteeism. However, the following year, his mother would quickly grow sick of cancer and die. Yeah, she got sick of it. That's terrible writing, Jesse. She got cancer, got sick with it, and died. Despite her being terrible to him most of his life, Willie loved her
She just
dearly
gave up.
Yeah.
and took the loss very hard. I mean,
They
probably.
were like, Mrs. Pickton, you've got cancer. She was like,
I'm sick of it.
She's all, fuck this.
No, well, if they really loved each other, usually when one dies,
Yeah,
the other follows.
she died of a broken heart.
Yeah,
Like, it was
whatever.
fucking cancer of the heart. Like, why can't you get that?
it's all the free meats she ate.
The farm was left to the 3 children, and this would provide a pretty good amount of income to Willie for the rest of his free life. Linda, their sister, sold her share of the farm to Willie and Dave, and Will ran the day-to-day on the farm and lived there for a while in the basement on the property.
Dog, he graduated to Will?
Dude, I call him Big Willie, Will Dog.
Willy
Call him
Piggy.
Robert sometimes.
Willy
Yeah,
Piggy.
Willy Piggy, Little Piggy, Stinky Piggy. So he lived in the basement on the property. It would flood and get all fucking gross, and then the water would just clear out, and he would just like move right back in. And then finally, it got so gross that he bought a trailer and put it at the very back end of the property, and that's where he lived. So, and it should be mentioned too that like Willy is very sheltered throughout his life. He didn't really watch TV because he's like, wake up, do farm work, go to school, come home, do farm work, go to your work as an apprenticeship, come home, do farm work, sleep, wake up, do farm work.
Well,
So
why didn't he want to live in the house because of the mom and the dad?
Because it's full of pig shit.
Well,
because it was dirty. Okay.
Trust me, that was not an issue for him.
It was
No, because other people lived there and worked there. Like, it's
Okay.
a fully operational business, and he would like, you know, he would hire someone and be like, "Oh, you can live here too," and like,
He just
well,
wanted to be out of the way. or,
yeah,
like,
I don't think it was out of the way as much as like he didn't want to be near anybody. You
Got
know,
it.
like he wanted to be a distant. So
secluded.
yes, and he didn't even actually drink alcohol or even soda too often. He just smelled like a pig farm.
Fucking
and
square, dude.
did fairly innocent shit until in 1980 he goes into downtown Vancouver and picks up a girl and immediately gets violent. Later, the working girl said that almost as soon as she got in the car, he became violent and raped her. He took her to a parking lot, threw her out, and drove off. She never reported it due to her line of work, and for now, this seems like it's going to quench the thirst of Willy's rage. It is over the next few years that Willy will be running the farm, and it's humming right along. In addition to the income he is getting from the farm's operations, he's additionally selling off lots of the 40 acres at an incredible profit, netting he and Dave a great deal of money.
Yeah.
All right, question number 6. At the time of his arrest, how much is Willy Pickton worth? This is Canadian dollars, but still.
CAD.
See, this is CAD. Yep. At
And
the
this
time of
is
his
his
arrest,
whole-
how much is Willy Pickton worth? He himself. And this is like liquid assets. Willy spent money, but he saved money. So it's not like money on
This is
paper,
after
you
he
know?
was selling parts of the land, right?
Yeah, this is like when he's arrested, his total wealth.
In
because We're
1980.
going to kind of cover it. No, when he's arrested. At the time of his arrest, how much is Willy Pickton worth? Dustin says $5 million. Ashley says 30,000. Technically, Ashley's closer because it was 2.3 million,
Oh.
which makes her like
He's
2.2
over.
million off, and you like 2.7.
I knew it was millions.
Yeah, yeah.
but
I win.
So Ashley's gonna get 250 points because he's worth about
Thanks,
2.3 million CAD
That's
at the time of
crazy.
his arrest.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot, and that's like what he had chilling. That's not his total. He had a lot of money. He's probably the richest serial killer that
That locks the game up too. You're both tied at 750.
750. We got 8 questions to go. Plenty of time, guys. And I think there are 1 or 2 more where only one of you are going to score. So,
Let's go.
yes,
Let's do
Willy's
this.
share of the money over everything is about $2.3 million. Willy buys a small trailer, lives on an isolated part of the property, and realizes now that his parents are gone and he's got his own trailer, he can do pretty much whatever he wants. At this point, he is working in the farm by day and trolling low track by night. By 1996, we are now talking about a millionaire Willy Pickton, and some coincidences start to happen. Multiple women begin to go missing from the low track neighborhood, and Willy also, as well as cruising low track, became quite the mover and shaker at a local establishment. Question number 7. What was the establishment called at which Willy became well known? Was it A, the Heartbreak Inn, B, the Vancouver Vagabond, C, the Astoria Hotel, or D, Mike's Bar and Motel? That one sounds classy.
Mike's Bar and Motel does sound like a good time.
The Heartbreak Inn, the Vancouver Vagabond, the Astoria Hotel, or Mike's Bar and Hotel. Both of them say the Astoria Hotel, and both of them will score. The Astoria Hotel is a bar at
Quit
which
copying me.
Willy
I
Willy
did it
is.
first. I totally did it first. He knows I did it first.
I don't know shit. Willy would go there and just, you know, he's literally a millionaire at this time, so he would go with like wads of $100, be like, drinks for everybody, and that was like how Willy sort of broke out of his shell. He had money and was like, bitch.
Yo, dude, that smelly guy's buying drinks.
Everybody get in here quick. Smelly Willy's buying drinks. So, yes. And for him, it gave him like newfound power. It gave him newfound confidence. It made him realize what he could do with the money. So he's got now a lot of new friends, and to him, they're like super special, great, amazing people. And pretty much everybody else in his life is like, yeah, they were fleecing him. They were taking everything they can get and
Who
getting
cares
out of
how
there.
you smell?
Yeah, exactly. They knew he had money, so they'd come use him as hard as they could and get out when they were done. And there was even one woman who was like, yeah, you know, I used to work a job doing $20 a day. Willie offered me a job making almost $100 a day. So then my
What?
$15 a day
I can't
crack
even find that
habit.
now.
Yeah, my $15 a day crack habit turned into an $80 a day crack habit. And that'll give you a little bit of an idea of the kind of people that Willie's...
Turned into a $160 a day cocaine habit.
Yeah.
Was
So-
flush with cash for a bit.
We'll take a break right here, and we'll come back. We'll get into the rest of this story. But yeah,
Great.
we're kind of at a point where Willie is reaching a high point, personality-wise, confidence-wise, and he's realizing, oh, you just had to be rich, and that's it? All right, sick.
Yeah, I can't wait for the rest of this.
Yeah, so Astoria Hotel, he's blowing up there. We'll come back. We'll get into the rest of the story after that. Come back, or we'll kill you. I was looking at you.
Oh,
You
me?
can't see because you have your back to
Oh,
me.
yeah, no, I'm fighting.
Sick.
Do it. Do the thing.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to episode 109, I think. We just talked about how Willie has learned that money equals bitches, and
He was a rapper before rappers.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, he's going to this bar. He's real, like, you know, I think it started as like, hey, you know, I want to buy a round. And he told the bartender, and he didn't tell anybody else. And then he saw, like, the positive reaction it got. And then it was like, hey, I'm going to buy a round. And then it, like, you know, it became, the guy everybody wanted to hang out at the Astoria Hotel with. So he had friends. He had what he perceived as power. He started hanging out with some Hell's Angels, I guess, that hung out. So he was like affiliated with some pretty like hard people. And when you are in, you know, like a group of people like that, the ability to appear terrifying or appear that you have a group like, look, it's no coincidence. Three of my best friends were giant monsters when we were younger. It just looks great when you're walking up to a group of motherfuckers and just going,
Yeah.
See these three freaking
Hell-
sequoias I got with me?
Hell's
Sequoias.
Angels back then too were
like, real.
not a club; they were real.
Yeah.
Said they were real.
They're just gonna show. You're just all of a sudden gonna hear, and our fucking garage door is gonna crash in 20 minutes because they heard us. They're
That's
everywhere.
cool. I've seen that episode of South Park. I know exactly how to deal with them.
Oh god. So yeah, women love him, men want to be him, and his newfound money came newfound power and a realization of what he could do.
And nobody wants to smell like it.
Yeah. So it was later said that almost all people who were friends with Willie were fleecing him. We kind of talked about that a little bit too. Willie, at this point, is kind of getting sick of having to spend all of his time and money in the Astoria, so he and his brother Dave come up with an idea. The Pickton brothers gradually neglected the farm's operations, and they registered a nonprofit charity that they would use to party. Question number 8. What did they call their nonprofit? Was it A, Helping Hands, B, The Good Butcher, C, Pork Chop Partners, or D, Piggy Palace Good Time Society? Helping Hands, The Good Butcher, Pork Chop Partners, or Piggy Palace Good Time Society?
I can tell you now.
You know what you want it to be.
I know what I want it to be. And I know which one sounds absolutely preposterous.
Well, tell me what, Greg, tell me what you want it to be.
Well, I want it to be all of them.
Okay.
I want them to all be facets of one name. I want it to be the Helping Hands, Good Butcher, Pork Chop Partners, Piggy Palace, Good Time Society.
all of them.
Greg,
together.
it was a trick question, and you get the points. Just kidding. Okay, so
Still the best guest in history.
Dustin said pork
How many
chop
points you got, Greg?
1 million.
All of them.
You said Pork Chop Partners?
No.
See?
I said helping hand.
Oh, Helping Hands. So did Ashley. Y'all are boring. But they registered their nonprofit organization for which they could party under the name Piggy Palace Good Time Society. No points
that
for
was
anybody.
my second choice.
This was 1996 when they put the name in officially with the Canadian government, aiming to, quote, organize, coordinate, manage, and operate special events, functions, dances, shows, and exhibitions on behalf of service organizations, sports organizations, and other worthy groups. It's a little wordy, but we got it, all right?
Yeah.
Piggy Palace Good Time Society. So
I like to think that one of them was just like, yo, make the name like long and stupid and nobody's going to question it. And like, what about our mission statement? Longer, stupider.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Let's
What
really
other
go
type
all
of
in.
organizations can you fit in there?
Was
Yeah.
he still a butcher at this point?
Yeah. So I mean, they're kind of like letting a lot of the shit on the farm go.
I don't want
because-
to spoil this for you, Dustin, but he's a serial killer. He never really stops being a butcher.
What?
So not really. He is a slaughterhouse operator. He was a butcher's apprentice for like 6.5 months.
Yeah.
And that was his whole goal, was to like become a butcher and get out of, move off the farm. But he got kind of guilted to coming back like 6 months before he was like done with his apprenticeship, That was in one of his audio journals. He was like, I was only 6 months away from going to be a butcher wherever I wanted to. And, that was his whole thing. And another thing, too, is he said he was supposed to join the army. And his mom told him, like, nope, you got to run the farm. And so
I'm going to army, mother.
I'm going to army, mother.
I feel like it's kind of like a mean thing too to call it the piggy palace, because he was like, I'm over this whole pig thing, and
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I'm over this.
but
yeah.
everybody's you gotta find your niche,
Yeah, your niche.
So the Piggy Palace Good Time Society gets into full swing. It includes raves, wild parties featuring Vancouver sex workers, and gatherings in a converted slaughterhouse. So they took an old slaughterhouse, turned it into like the club, and that's Piggy Palace Good Time Society. That's where everybody partied.
Seinfeld did it.
Yeah, so in addition to all of this, there was occasionally cockfighting at night as well for the local, what do we want to call them?
Just in the men's room.
degenerates.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it was, like they did everything, including
Oh, that's right. That's sword fighting.
cockfighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where all
Chicken.
the cocks hang out.
Roosters.
So these events attracted sometimes as many as 2,000 people. Again, since Willie was friends with him, Hell's Angels were known to frequent the farm due to Willie liking to be associated with anyone that made him appear scarier and more tough.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like Canadian Hell's Angels should just be called Hex Angels.
Hey. During the height of Piggy Palace's notoriety, Willie was charged with the attempted murder of a sex worker named Wendy.
Ooh, she got away.
So police were already familiar with the Pickton brothers, and David had been convicted of a sexual assault in 1992 and was given 30 days probation, and Piggy's Palace was a frequent source of police calls. Like, these guys are not off the radar by
Yeah, they're
any means.
definitely
They're
on it.
both, like, they got a fucking raging, like, party site that's supposed to be a farm. And, it's, like, you know how it works. Like, if you have a farm property and it's designated as a farm with the government, same in Canada as it is here, you have to be doing a farm there. You
Yeah.
can't just be like, no, we just party here now. It just doesn't work like that. And that's kind of what they are doing. So, the police are there always. Wendy's story came as no surprise to the police when she gets it, but they weren't sure exactly what to believe her, as her reputation was not exactly glowing. However, she claims that on March 23rd, 1997, she had been working on the corner of Princess and Cordova when Willie pulled up in a red pickup truck and asked her how much she charged for sex. She quoted him $40, but Willie upped the offer to $100 if she went home to his farm in Port Coquitlam.
Oh, that's really cheap.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 80s, too. So, converted. It's
That's like a
little more
week's
than it
worth.
sounds like. Yeah. So, taking nearly the triple going rate, she cautiously agreed, despite the farm being nearly 30 minutes outside town. The only reason she agreed was Willie's willingness to pay extra and a promise that he'd have her back on her corner in 90 minutes so she can get the rest of her night's work in. She agreed to this. Arriving at Pickton's trailer, she noticed that it was a mess. A pigsty, as she described it. See what
Called
she did
it.
there? See what she
Totally
did
called
there?
it.
Call it out.
One thing she noticed was a large butcher's knife on the kitchen table. The two retired to the bedroom, I should say, and Wendy delivered on what Willie had ordered. So,
We all can imagine.
fairly standard operation as of right now, right? How much? It's this much. Normally, you gotta fucking go do it in an alley. Hey, I'll
pretty
give you a little more.
transactional.
You can-
I get
yeah,
it.
like, we don't need to bring ink and paper into this, but it's an official transaction.
Here's your receipt for your donut.
Yeah. So she kind of gets there and she's a little freaked out by the butcher's knife, but then she's like, "Oh, I'm like, wait, look where I am. Of course there would be a butcher's knife
It's in the
here, you know?"
kitchen.
Well, and it's like on a pig farm, and this guy is, runs the slaughterhouse, and
It's like going to.
It's like going to a baseball player's house and be like, whoa, why is that baseball bat
there's a
just
bat.
leaning against
There's
the
a-
wall, dude?
yeah.
What the fuck's that all about?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way.
What were you gonna say, Greg?
Let's
Yeah.
go with
He
that.
was working on it.
No, I had one. I was just debating before I finished talking.
I see. I saved him then.
Yeah.
So
Save me some editing.
the two then exchanged pleasantries after they exchanged pleasantries.
Ah.
Pickton paid her $100 in 5 $20 bills. Afterwards, she had her back turned while going through a phone book to call the hotel at which her John stayed. So she's like, thanks for the money, bro. I'm going to call the hotel. I'm going to get my ride out of here. You don't even trip about giving me a ride back. You know, I got this handled. And she says while she's doing this, she could feel Pickton behind her. She spun around and Pickton grabbed her arm, slapping a handcuff around her left wrist. So this is a direct quote from Wendy. I leave last names out. So
You should.
Quote, then I just started fighting him. And then the first thing I remembered was the knife on the kitchen table. So as I was fighting him, I was like going backwards so I could get to this knife. And then I reached for the knife and then I leaped at him. I slit his throat. And I remember him grabbing a rag and going, you fucking bitch, you got me good. And then put the rag on his neck. And then he had a big old long stick. And I remember him just picking up plants, everything he can get a hold of, and throwing it at me. And I'd throw it back at him. So
That's fun.
The first thing she did is just, and she did. She cut
Not
him
deep.
across
Oh,
the-
she did do
It
deep.
was fucking deep. I didn't see cuts or anything, but from what the story says, and we'll see here. Well, okay, she actually got him a couple times, really good. So the fight goes outside, and she literally is like, I black out. I don't even know how we got
Rage,
outside, but
yeah.
eventually the fight is outside. Willie follows her, bleeding heavily. They fight again, but this time Willie gets the upper hand, gets the butcher's knife from her, and stabs her twice in the stomach. He then begins to feel woozy from his loss of blood and stumbles back inside, having his throat cut, his cheek cut open, and it was so deep through there that she had cut part of his jawbone and teeth off.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
The feeling that gave me when you said that, like the
Oh my
the
God.
absolute shudder to my very core.
Like, so think the knife
All
kind
the
of
way
came
to
in
your
like
butthole.
like this way down.
right.
It has to be like
sliced
one of the.
open the cheek and like cut through this
Like when you
thin
get-
layer of bone and took a couple of teeth with
I
it.
fucking hate
like
that
when
so
you get
much.
like curb
crazy.
stomped.
And think we're talking about like a butcher's knife on a slaughterhouse owner. Like, you know, that shit was just the sharpest thing that could have ever existed.
Hit the teeth and
And she
took the
said-
teeth out.
It didn't pull them out. Think,
Hit the
okay,
teeth.
this is a piece of bone, right?
Yeah.
It cut through the cheek and cut the top of the bone off with a couple teeth.
Like sheared it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
Get it,
Yeah.
girl.
Damn,
Get it,
dude.
Wendy.
so Wendy escaped and ran down the driveway to the road and flagged down a passing car. She said that while she did this, she had to hold in her own intestines from the stab wounds that Willie had inflicted upon her. When someone finally pulled over to help, she got in the back seat and told them, quote, "If I don't make it, that is the farm of the man who did this to me," pointing to the Pickton farm. When she arrived at the hospital, she was not in a great way, but the driver of the car that picked her up told them about Willie. Police were sent to Pickton's property, and he was found in his trailer in a puddle of his own blood. He was taken to the hospital and also treated and would recover. At the initial onset, he's going to be charged with attacking Wendy despite his story that he did it in self-defense as she tried to rob him after seeing money on the table. So right here is like, this is their story. She's like, yes, I did a job for him, whatever. Yeah, I did that,
Yeah.
but he tried to fucking kill me afterwards
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And he's like, yeah, right, I brought her over. I was going to use a sex worker. Well, sue me for
And
it.
back then it
and
was
she
legal.
saw money on the
Yeah.
table, and she tried to fucking rob me. So that's their two stories. It's still highly illegal, it's not legal at all there.
Back then.
Nope,
Oh,
not
okay.
even,
Oh, okay.
not even close. That's why it's like only happening in the seediest part of Low Track.
And that's why there's not like they're trying to like maybe not this happened or
Yes,
okay,
and that's
the
exactly.
story's not
I mean,
exact.
that's almost gonna continue here because.
Okay.
He goes to the hospital. She goes to the hospital. He's initially charged with attacking Wendy. He says self-defense when she tried to rob him. Willie's going to hire the most high-profile and expensive lawyer that he could find. and send some of his Hell's Angels friends over to intimidate
no.
Wendy. Due to all of this, she would not show up to court, and Willy would never be charged because his plea of self-defense would be accepted because she never showed up. So he gets off, probably twice.
Boo.
A few months later, the Pictons. God, I got booed. Stuff crowd. A few months later, the Pictons were sued by Port Coquitlam officials for violating zoning ordinances. That's what we were talking about. Like, you run a farm, you gotta fucking run a farm. You don't get to run a fucking rave slaughterhouse now.
Yeah.
The Raver House.
Yes. They're continuing to have these ragers that are disruptive and sometimes violent. They're neglecting the agriculture for which the land had been zoned and having, quote, altered a large farm building on the land for the purpose of holding dances, concerts, and other recreations. So they have this still very large piece of land in which agriculture is going by the wayside. Why? Because they like to party.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's fun.
Hi, I'm Willy, and I like to party.
This is the 90s, right? You said
This-
1992,
yeah, we're like-
so
we're,
we're already in or 1996.
Yeah,
Like
we're late
97?
now. We're about
Piggy
97,
Palace.
early 98.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So it only takes about a year for them to really start falling on the shitty side of everybody's opinion. So question number 9. What did the Pickton brothers do about the legal pressure that they were getting from the Canadian government over the zoning ordinances? Is it A, ignore it? B, get the ag in order, but continue to fucking party? You know, like, look, hey, all right, it's together. Get the fuck out of here. Raging!
Let's go.
Or do they file to remove agriculture from their land's use ordinance? They're like, fuck it. We're just, hey, can you put down fucking Rage Party Central for our ordinance, bitches? Or do they D, fix the farm and go back to life as normal without the piggy palace? Because, like, you know, they are still rich guys and they want to probably continue doing that. Do they A, ignore it? B, get the ag in order to continue the party, file to remove agriculture from their land's use, or fix the farm and go back to life as normal without the piggy palace? Dustin says, get the ag in order, but continue to rage, and so does Ashley. And together,
We lose.
they will score no points because the Pickton brothers fully
A.
ignored the pressure from the officials and held a 1998 New Year's party, after which they were faced with an injunction banning future parties. Okay, so yes, the Pictons ignored the pressure from the officials and held a 1998 New Year's party. So yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Wicked.
The police are now authorized to arrest and remove any person attending future Piggy Palace Good Time Society events at the farm. So essentially, they're like, yeah, all right, do it. And anybody who shows up, we're arresting them, period. That's how it's going to happen now.
Yeah, try us.
Yeah, and so despite their best efforts at hiding it, the society's nonprofit status was removed the following year for inability to procure statements of financial or anything to subsequently prove that they were actually being a nonprofit society. After they could not prove any of this, they were disbanded. I mean, that's pretty fair, right? Hey, we're running this nonprofit society over here. All right, cool. Can we just check out your financial statements? Like,
We don't have any. We don't turn a profit, dude. Did you not hear what I just said?
Oh, we're
Yeah, I
supposed
feel
to
like
keep
that's what a lot of
paperwork on
people
that?
do to this day.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Looking at you, Susan G. Komen.
Sorry.
Yeah. No,
Anybody
same
that
thing.
does.
All cancer societies ever. They're like, yes, we give 1% of your donation to cancer. Look that up. If you donate to something, look up how much is going to the cause of what you're donating to, because there might be a better place to be giving it.
There's a
Just saying.
website I
I
can't
agree.
remember that has a tracker that tells
We'll
you.
find the website and we'll put it somewhere for you guys if you're curious, because it for sure, if you're giving to one of the bigger ones, you are giving nothing to anything but like leasing giant office buildings.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
paying
CEO of
huge
Susan G.
staffs.
Komen clears like $650,000 a year.
Yeah, non-profit.
Yep.
So people got to get paid.
But hey, man, the
gotta
NFL
get
wears
paid.
pink during October, so
Not anymore. So, if you watch the documentary surrounding the farm and Willy, it like especially the newer one. I'm not gonna scroll all the way back up, but I believe it was called the Pig Farmer or whatever. You kind of get an idea of the people that are hanging out around the farm. A lot of missing teeth. A whole lot of missing teeth.
is it like watching the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia?
Yeah,
Hey, that's a good show.
It's a great movie.
That's amazing that
Great
you just said
documentary.
that all
It's. I
Completely.
mean, I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming that yes, that's exactly what that is.
It is great.
There are some pretty. I mean, there are people that you could tell were just like down on their luck, and you could see like later they're like clearly doing better. And there are some people that they're interviewing where you're like, oh, didn't make it out. It's 2018 when this documentary came out, and you didn't make it out. That's too bad. So, not really like a lawful bunch, I don't think. Not a lot of really good opinions about the people you see on the Pickton property. So one of these men was named Andy Bellwood. And now I will say that Andy Bellwood seems like one of the ones that turned his life around and is at least a fairly normal dude now. But by his own admission, Willie and he became rather close rather fast. And one night they were hanging out, and Willie suggested to Andy that they go and get a sex worker. Andy's like, nah, son, that's not
He's
really my
addicted to all
style.
this.
Or maybe it is, but it's not when I'm hanging out with you. But nah, I'm
Saturdays are for the boys, not for the boys and girls.
Yeah. So Willie then goes over to the bed and begins to describe and pantomime for Andy what he does when a woman is in his trailer, including the sex, strangling, and handcuffing, and then eventual removal of their body to the pig slaughtering area. The following day, Willie realizes his mistake and sends a few of his tough friends over to Andy's place, who accuse him of stealing tools from Willie and rough him up pretty good while telling him never to come back. Andy knew that he hadn't stolen, but took this as his sign to not get involved any further with Willie.
so
So
is this
hold
him,
on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this guy's pantomiming like fucking and murdering and then feeding somebody to pigs, right?
It's a confession, correct?
So yeah, essentially, let me really quickly, because Willie's MO is going to be exactly that. He's going to feed whatever he can to the pigs, so the pigs won't eat everything, but they'll eat a lot of it. And then what he does is he takes everything else and takes it to the pork rendering plant. So all
Hot
that
dogs.
dog food, I mean, it's like mainly like gelatin. It's
Yeah.
cosmetic products. The gelatin they use in cosmetic products, it's dog food, it's cat food, it's farm animal food, it's used for filler, and it's it's generally just not. It's
Chicken
got,
nuggets
It's got
and shit.
just enough nutrients in it to be considered
McDonald's
edible to
chicken
something.
nuggets.
Yeah,
Pink slime.
Can't say that.
and so
They don't
We're not
sponsor this
sponsored.
show. He can say that.
the
We're not
one
sponsored by McDonald's.
McDonald, that'd be tight. I'll take some nuggies for every episode. So Willie's MO was mainly that he would remove their hands, feet, and head, feed what he could to the pigs, get rid of the rest. Hands, feet, and heads are like distinctly human, and everything else isn't. It could all just be pork waste.
Yeah.
So he could throw all that away, and he would keep hands, feet, and heads in like barrels that were stored in freezers or just down in deep freezes on
That's
their
creepy.
own. Yeah, because those were identifiable, and so the rest he had a very good way of getting rid of at a reduction plant that he was known. And they knew, hey Willie, bring a just got a couple barrels of pork waste for you. Suck it out of the barrels or whatever. So back to Andy, who they, a couple dudes, I don't know, Hell's Angels, or just a couple tough dudes Willie sends over. And Andy's like, well, fuck, I don't need to be involved in this. I didn't steal from him. I know that I didn't. So he kind of gets the idea. Yes, Greg, he pantomimes fucking, pantomimes
Handcuffing
murdering.
and murdering. And,
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. So
I wonder how he did it though. Like, how do you just sit there and watch somebody
That's what I'm
pantomime
wondering.
that shit? Like,
I
well, no,
think-
not. I get how you could pantomime all
I'll
that
tell
stuff.
you exactly how. It's because Andy was one of the people who were getting things from Willie. He had a cushy
That's
job.
fair.
And he was kind of close with him. Like, I mean, as dumb as it sounds, like if you and I were hanging out in a room and you did that, I wouldn't be like, Greg, stop that immediately. I'd be like, oh, hey, that was
Yeah.
weird.
But it would be weird if I was like, hey, dude, let's go get a hooker, and you were like, no, and I was like, really? Because this is what I like to do.
Well, and, it would
And
be
part of
super-
that involved murder.
Well, and it would be super awkward to be like, "Hey, man, come into my bedroom. Let me show you what I do."
Yeah,
Well,
like,
they were already hanging out because it's like a trailer, and that's right. So like
Oh.
the TV was in the bedroom, so Andy
I
was
like
in
to
there.
get my leg up on the
Willie-
headboard like this, and
and
then after they slit my throat, I like to chase them
You
into
got a
the
headboard
yard.
in a trailer.
So in 1998, one of Willie's hired hands is Bill Hiscox. All right, let's get the laughs out now. Hiscox.
I don't get it.
Bill Hiscox.
Oh.
Greg will laugh later. Bill
What is
Hiscox
editing?
grows concerned after reading a newspaper account of
His Cox grows.
Yeah.
Did you do that on purpose?
Bill his Cox.
Hiscox grew. Hiscox grew concerned after reading a newspaper account of Vancouver's many missing sex workers.
Oh.
This all coupled with the fact that he had noticed that women who visited Pickton's farm often went missing afterwards. Hiscox knew Pickton often frequented the downtown area looking for girls, and he knew about Robert's 1997 arrest for attempted murder of a sex worker. In addition to this, he told police that he heard from an acquaintance, Lisa Yeld, that Pickton had woman's bloody clothing, identification, and personal items all strewn about as trophies inside of his trailer. Bill didn't get in the trailer, but this woman, Lisa Yelds, who, if you just see her dumb face, you'll hate. There might be people out there that share some sympathy for her because she was someone who kind of got strung along by a serial killer. I feel like she kind of just might have known the whole time. But I think you're supposed to feel bad for her, and I generally try to. But she's like a childhood friend of Willie. I think she ignored a lot of things.
This is what you're getting into when you become friends with the sneaky kid.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going on, and Bill's like, yo, if this is really happening, we need to talk about something. And Bill also went to get paid or something by Willie, and he went right into the front of the trailer and saw a pile of purses in Willie's trailer.
Sometimes I'd just be stealing those. That's not suspicious.
That's not a crime. No, that is a crime. Okay, now I know.
I won't do it again.
Bill had seen women's purses in a pile of Willie's trailer, but didn't think much of it until he brought it up to Lisa Yelds, who had been friends with Pickton since childhood. Yelds agreed with Bill that it was likely that the missing women were going missing at the Pickton farm. Bill says after a conversation with Yelds, they agreed that someone should do something, but Yelds was too afraid to do so. So Mr. Hiscox would give his call to the police and send them a tip. However, as he himself was a recovering drug addict and had a colorful criminal past, the police were apprehensive about believing his story. So again, kind of what Greg was saying, you live on the fringes, you live like this, you are less than human at times to a lot of. In this story, there's a lot of podcasts and a lot of documentaries that'll just shit all over the police and look, I'm not a cop, I don't know how hard it is. It seems kind of fucking hard, but there are times when I have hindsight. And I'm like, what the fuck were you even doing?
Yeah, but in such a small town too. I mean, how many police do you really have if you're out there?
Well, see, the thing is that this isn't a Port Coquitlam thing; it's a Vancouver thing. The women are all going missing from Vancouver, so it's one of the what? Were there 7 big towns in Canada total? If that.
Yeah, maybe.
But are these police oh, cool, all these ladies of the night are disappearing and hopefully they got a better life?
That's exactly it. They're no bodies and what so they're
Hopefully
grown
they're
women
better.
who left Vancouver.
Yeah.
And, so we'll kind of get into it a little bit more, but yeah, that's kind of exactly what's going on. So they contact Lisa Yelds after they get Bill's story. Again, lifelong friend of Willie's. She has a lot of information. She seemed to have had even more than Bill, and says hey, I think I've seen a dead body. So that's her main thing. It's I've seen all this stuff.
A dead body?
And I've also seen a dead body. When the police questioned her, she denied everything, even going as far as trying to further make Hiscox seem like a loose cannon. So
come on. You cannot be fucking serious. You wrote to make his cock seem like a loose cannon.
Hey,
come the fuck on.
if you're gonna point out
said-
every
on
time I
purpose.
write something in, that's not funny anymore.
It's funny. I
You
think it's
said
hilarious.
get the laughs out, and then you set me up with shit like that.
It's called excellent writing.
I think it's amazing.
Come on.
So it works. Police are not able to get a search warrant based completely on only Hiscox conjecture, let's call it. So it's really at this point that I turned on Lisa throughout the documentary, where I'm like, okay, I'm sympathetic to a point. I don't know what I would do if I thought maybe one of my best friends is a serial killer. You can't put yourself in those shoes until you are there. So I can't say, I'd try to protect my friend, but I can't say that there wouldn't be a little bit of my mind that's plausible deniability. I don't get involved. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I fucking hated her because her whole thing was like, oh, you know why I didn't tell about all the women that died? I don't like cops. It's like, oh yeah, that's your reason? You fucking stupid idiot because you don't like cops? Like, cool. Very good reason, Lisa. And
or maybe jealousy.
I hope I don't get too much shit for this.
Too?
What's that?
Like, is it jealousy probably too? I mean, if she's, I could see this like jealousy thing of being like, well, I'm not better than all these girls that died. Like, I don't know. Maybe they were prettier and better, and she's happy that they're dead.
I think, to me, it seems like maybe she was more involved than we think.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think. Mm-hmm. There was also another woman who I didn't include because I wasn't so sure that it was what it seemed. But Willie had, like, a woman who would go out, which was not Lisa, and, like, collect women that, you know, like, Willie could hook up with. Yeah. So, again, Bill goes to the police. He's like, yo, fuck, I think there's something going on. The police are like, that's interesting. And do you have anybody else? And he's like, yeah, this lady Lisa. And Lisa's like, I don't like cops, and I ain't saying shit to no cop. Get out of here, pig.
Canadian
Smell
hillbilly.
that? Yeah, it smelled like pig before you got here, but it smells like more pig now. So, yes, her reason is that she doesn't like cops. Had she corroborated his cock story, she could have helped save the lives of an additional 10+ women. Oh, you fucking children. You immature.
Yeah, but I mean,
monster.
How
Sorry,
badly?
when you say cock.
How badly do you want to hear his cock story?
Yeah, it's hard.
Okay, so by 1999, when others begin noticing unusual happenings at Piggy's Palace, and in February of that year, Canadian police received a tip that they weren't sure about. The tip was that Pickton had a freezer filled with human flesh. Like, just an anonymous tip. Hey, this guy's got fucking dead bodies in a freezer. Click. The police would interview Pickton about this, because they can't be like, oh, you said that? We got a search warrant now. They can't just go out there because someone said that and look around. But they talked to Willie. They actually received his consent to search the farm, but they're like, oh, if he's going to let us search, why do we don't even need to search? Like, all right, thanks, Willie, and then get the fuck out of there.
It was a test, and he passed.
Yeah. So in May of 1999, geographic profiler Kim Rossmo who had been hired by Vancouver police, noticed an unusual concentration of disappearances in downtown Eastside or Low Track, Vancouver. Now, Kim is a man. Kim Rossmo is fucking kind of a badass. Almost perfectly nailed the serial killer they would be looking for. He's got a mass stash of bodies. He's doing this. He's doing, like, nailed a ton of things that would pretty much, if they had listened to Kim Rossmo at the beginning, would have also saved a lot of women's lives. But essentially, Kim Rossmo was a joke to the Vancouver Police Department. They thought his line of work and the way he did things were just like...
That's too bad to see somebody who does good work like that get discredited.
Yeah. Not only did he get discredited, at the end of 1999, they just fire him. Yeah, you're not really working out here. After not following any of his leads, after not doing anything he says, they just end up
That makes me think that these officers are going to the piggy club.
You might be right about some of them, at least. But so Kim would take his finding to the superiors, and they dismissed him, rationalizing the women were sex workers and had simply just moved on from downtown Vancouver. Today, we know that Vancouver police recognized sex workers were disappearing at an alarming rate, but knew that in many cases, missing sex workers often turned up decades later alive. And without bodies, there was simply no case to pursue, according to police.
That's interesting.
The police would even go on record in a televised press conference that they had no evidence of foul play and that any of the women were truly missing. So they're like, there's no killer. We don't even know that any of these women are missing. Yeah, they're not living in the east side on the streets anymore.
They're just up and out of town. There could be.
Yeah, and
anything.
I try not to listen to podcasts to prepare, but I had a long road trip, so I listened to last podcast coverage on Willy Pickton, and Henry had such a good point. He's like, "Yep, there's nothing like the mover and shakers of the heroin world, always just getting around all over the place. You never know on the map where they're going to be. They don't just confine a 3x3 foot square of earth forever."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that kind of makes sense too.
That kind of money.
So, Kim Rossmo's information Gets to Vancouver police. They fire him in 1999, even though things that he had thought the profile would eventually be quite true of Willy Pickton. It was not until 3 years later the police would finally get a break in the case on their own after being given 2 or 3 solid chances so far in the past decade. Scott Chubb, a man who had worked for the Pickton brothers in 1994. Yeah, that's right. We've got a Hiscock and a Chubb.
I just want to go on record before you continue that I was perfectly content letting that one go.
You weren't. Come
I
on.
was going to let it go.
So, acting on information that Chubb provided, on February 6, 2002, police executed a search warrant at the farm looking for illegal firearms. So, Chubb tells him, dude, this guy's got a fucking MAC-10 automatic. And so police are like, oh, okay, well, we can move on that because, Canada and guns aren't like super...
it's not like Americans and guns.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Is Canada at that time illegal to have a CCW or a...
I don't know, but I just know that like having a MAC-10 fully automatic weapon was like grounds for even someone saying that.
Yeah,
even though it's like, oh, dead
zero.
bodies? Nah, we can't go out there. He's got a weapon. Oh, shit, motherfucker.
Yeah. I don't think any laws happened until way later for that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We could look that up later. Well, you guys hit up Ashley. You see her name right there. She'll have done the research by the time you guys reach out to her.
Yeah.
You know me. If you're using this show for research or education purposes, don't. We're entertainers.
I'm
damn
sorry. I have stupid questions.
No, that's not a stupid question. I told you to ask questions about questions, but I don't have answers to all of them. So, the police would go through the property, and at this time, police suspect Pickton was responsible for the disappearances of nearly 100 Vancouver women. Whether the illegal firearms warrant was used as a means to gain access to the property is unknown. The camera can see you guys. What is known as the informant's claims of illegal weapons on the property was fabricated, and that he would later admit to that. So Scott Chubb made it up so the police could
go there. And yeah, check it out.
So from what I know and understand, like nothing has come of that because, it led to some cool shit, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how the law works.
Wait, this guy's still alive?
I don't know. That's going to be a question later.
Oh, shit.
That's the last question.
Willie was arrested and charged with storing a firearm, contrary to regulations. He was released a few days later. During the search, police noticed several women's items scattered throughout the home. Suspecting the items could belong to the missing Vancouver women, police placed Pickton under surveillance while seeking a second, more extensive warrant. During that time, they blew their surveillance by immediately pulling over Pickton when he picked up a young woman. The young woman turned out to be the daughter of one of his good friends, and the story was able to be corroborated. So they're like, they're watching, all right, only strike if it's an emergency, a girl gets in the car and like, fucking go. They like, get on top of him, and he's like, what? It's my friend's daughter. And she's like, yeah, it's my friend's daughter. And like, they call the mom, and it's totally true.
So they
blew their cover, yeah.
Okay.
And then he's like, oh, okay, so they're just watching
I'm on
everything
radar.
I do now, yeah.
So I'm being surveilled.
So
Yes,
Pickton was just
correct.
giving the daughter of his friend a ride. Eventually, police obtained a second search warrant as part of the BC Missing Women investigation. So it's at this point that the police are finally admitting, all right, it's kind of a lot of people that are missing
He's on
here.
the radar.
Yeah. So Vancouver's downtown east side, also known as Low Track, for the early 80s to 2002, that more than 60 women had gone missing. Centered around
60?
centered around the intersection of Main and Hastings, nicknamed Pain and Wastings. Nice.
I was just going to say, is this a fucking frisky dingo bit? What is that?
According to a local newspaper.
I like to call it lost wages.
Nice. Okay, this is the quote that I liked. According to a local newspaper, Low Track was replete with rundown hotels and pawn shops lined with stained and fractured sidewalks. The area was littered with garbage, used condoms, and discarded hypodermic needles. 1/4 of its residents were infected with AIDS. Home to drug dealers, prostitutes, and pimps, it was Vancouver's neglected Skid Row.
I was going to say.
That was like the
Skid Row.
Vancouver Sun-Times. They're like talking about their own city. That was their description of it.
There's like, so, go out of your way to avoid this area
Yeah.
unless you like any of those things.
So, working as a part of the BC Missing Women Project, which was created again in 1998 after the police could not deny that there were too many missing sex workers, not long after going on the record of saying, yo, it's all good, baby. Armed with their second warrant, police searched Pickton's home and property, and although Pickton seemed to have the drop on them a lot of the time, because he fucking knew everybody. So it's not like he was like in with the police, but like he was in with a guy who knew a cop, who heard a thing. And so like whenever they would stop by, it would always seem like Willy had just cleaned up or, you know.
Yeah.
So...
Well, and if you're in with the Hells Angels, you're above the police. So.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
not for
Sorry.
long, baby.
Ah.
So again, armed with their second police warrant, they're going to search Pickton's home and property. He's always got the drop on him, but fucking not this time. This warrant was served by shock and surprise, leaving Pickton no time to clean up or hide anything further. During the search, police found a handbag containing miscellaneous female items, including question number 10. What item did they find that led them to believe they had found the right guy? Was it A, an inhaler, B, an ID, C, a specific pair of shoes, or D, a custom wig? An inhaler, an ID, a specific pair of shoes, or a fancy wig? So they found something, and they said, what the fuck? I think this connects something here. Dustin said, A? Dustin says A, an inhaler. Ashley says C, a specific pair of shoes. What they found in the bag that they thought would connect something was a prescription inhaler belonging to Serena Abbotsway. Now, the reason I put her name in, very important, very pivotal to the case, this inhaler, Serena Abbotsway.
Needed the inhaler.
Well, no, to me, it's more like she did lose her life, but in a way, she's the one that kind of helped. I'm trying to look at
she was the catalyst to getting
She's
his
the
caught.
catalyst to solving the entire crime.
Is she the ugly face one?
No, that was his friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was probably beautiful. A prescription inhaler belonging to Serena Abbotsway, one of
At least in her
Vancouver's
soul.
missing women. What's that?
At least in her soul.
Yes. This would be the beginning of the end for Willy, as once he was arrested due to all of the evidence like belongings, it would not be long until body parts began showing up in barrels, buried in mud, in freezers, and all over the farm. Willy has been informed that he is now under arrest for murder due to discoveries at his home. Many people begin to come out and say that they know things about Willy or that they suspected it. Some of them were not reputable types, but others, like Elaine Allen, who ran a program called WISH, the Women's Information Safe House, said she saw many women go missing during her time there, and she felt the whole time like someone was responsible for their disappearances, but could never get anyone to take her story seriously. She never met Willy. She wasn't like, oh, it's this guy Willy, I think. She was just like, holy shit, there are a lot of women going missing, and this happens a lot. There are a few investigative journalists, Elaine, there are 2 or 3 police officers who alone would investigate a lot of shit, and there's more to this than it appears. But nothing gets high enough to where they're like, all right, official investigation until 2002.
Yeah, because that would
women
make
start
a lot
going-
of sense because
Till 2000 what?
2002. So from 1980 to 2002 is how long that's women begin going missing in 1980. So it takes a full 22 years for anything to.
Well, I think back in the 80s, the cops were like, "Oh, missing prostitute." Who cares?
That's
Hopefully
that's
they
that's
found
less
somebody
problems for
good.
them.
that's the idea for sure. So,
Maybe they found, a good guy that.
that's what
liked them.
that was
A
the
Captain
main story.
Save-A-Ho.
And
then
whether
and then they got loved, and then they were like, "Okay, you don't have to do this anymore." I mean,
Pretty woman.
You know the movie. I was gonna.
I wanna
didn't
take
know
you
if I
away
I
was-
was going to ask
I
didn't
Ashley
know if
if
I
she's
was allowed
telling
to
our
say the
story
movie.
right now or what.
What's that from Family Guy? I have $3.74. Do something to me.
Dustin was.
I
Dustin
love
was
you.
My,
I want to take you away from all this.
What's his name?
Captain Save-A-Ho.
No, the actual actor,
Richard Gere.
Richard
You had a
Gere.
gerbil in your ass
Yeah,
once?
same
Dustin-
thing. Same thing.
Dustin was my Richard Gere. He said, "Stop this.
That's
Come with me."
so romantic. No, I think, whether or not they thought what you said, less sex workers, the better for us. The official line of the police is there are no bodies, there are no signs of foul play. They're grown adults. They can leave whenever they want.
Yeah.
They probably just left Vancouver.
Hopefully they...
Whether it was with men, that was their official line, was that, they're gone. So Willy's in jail for the gun. While he's in jail, they find bodies. They let him know.
Oh.
Question number 11. How many murders will he initially be charged with upon this arrest? Is it A, 2, B, 6, C, 17, or D, 29? Initial arrest. So he's in there for weapons. They, rearrest him for murder.
And they've gone to his house.
And they've been there for the day.
And they've just for one day.
Yes, I believe at this time it is 1 day, and he's being arrested and charged with murder for how many? 2, 6, 17, or 29? Dustin says 2. Ashley says 17. With the evidence they have found, Robert Pickton is initially charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree for Serena Abbotsway and a woman named Mona Wilson. So 250 more points for Dustin.
Good job.
And here I've got kind of a timeline because we're sort of he's been charged. They're going to look for evidence. They're going to build a case. We're going to go to court. So you'll forgive me for being sort of, here's this date, here's this date, here's this date. But I just found it to be the easiest way to tell this. Because on April 2nd of this year, this is 2002. Everything here is going to be 2002 until I say otherwise. April 2nd, the Crown announces 3 more first-degree murder charges against Pickton. April 9th, 6th murder charge is laid against him. On April 23rd, Karen Jonesbury, a mother of one of the victims, files a lawsuit against Pickton. Against Pickton, the police, the province, and the federal government in relation to her daughter's death. So she's just like, oh, you were all neglectful and you murdered her. So lawsuits for you all.
So all that happened in 21 days. That's just that's that timeline from April 2nd until she filed the lawsuit was 21 days.
Yes, correct. May 22nd, Pickton is charged with first-degree murder of yet another woman. On June 6th, police begin excavating Pickton property with the help of archaeologists. On September 19th, a father of a missing woman, Marcy, files a lawsuit against police, City of Vancouver, and the province and federal government as well. September 19th, Willy Pickton is charged with 4 more murders.
Is this a word problem? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
I'm actually doing
I told
that
you
on
I'm
my
sorry
paper.
that it's so like...
No, I know.
Yeah,
it feels like you're on a train leaves heading west at 24 miles an hour. That's what it feels like.
So the list of missing officially grows to 63. Now, that doesn't mean that those are Willys. That's just the list of officially missing women in Vancouver from 1980 to 2002 has officially been narrowed down to 63 women, which doesn't sound like a lot.
No, that's a lot. I'm sorry, that's a lot.
No, I mean, over 22 years, and it's like, that's really only, this amount a year,
But that's still 63 unexplained disappearances that, you can't...
Well, that's the number that they have for now.
Right.
That they're okay, so on October 2nd of 2002, Pickton is charged with the murders of 4 more women. On January 13th, 2003, preliminary hearings begin in a provincial court in Port Coquitlam. And on July 21st of 2003, the hearing concludes. And July 23rd, 2 days later, Judge David Stone commits Pickton for trial on counts of 15 counts of first-degree murder. On November 18th, investigators wrap up a mass excavation in search of the Pickton property. So that excavation, if you guys will remember, began on... when
June
was that?
6th.
June 6th. So they excavated from June to November.
So 5 months.
Spent 5 months digging up his property.
5 months just finding bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me up.
Sign me up.
Metal!
See, those guys are...
Oh, my God.
Those guys are dumb.
Dustin always
because
threatens me with that.
I can go to a cemetery
burn
and
the
find
house
one
down?
in 5 seconds.
On February 20th, 2004, BC government reports investigation costs will likely run up to $70 million and that the money has been set aside in the provincial budget. March 10th, so they're like, it's going to cost $70 million to investigate it. We don't even trip, bitches. We got it, motherfucker. We already set it aside.
We said we're going to go ahead and earmark this for what? For this fuckface over here.
Yeah, this fuckface here. We got to really
look into this. He's a real
this.
piece of shit.
March 10th, 2004, health officials report that they cannot rule out that human remains may have been in meat processed for human consumption at the Pickton property.
I was thinking
And
that was
the
going to be
rendering
something.
plant.
Give
I
me
thought
those
that
pork
was
chops.
going to be.
So there was a recall on meat. No one turned in meat apparently from the recall, but
I thought that was
they could not rule out the fact that at his farm and the rendering plant there could be.
They couldn't turn in meat because they were all dead from a fucking prion disease.
Well, there is one woman who, because Willie would give out meat, like that was his shit. Like if you own a slaughterhouse, why wouldn't you be like?
Yeah, no, we talked about the free
exactly.
meat, man.
So one woman claims that she ate meat Willie gave her and she got hepatitis C. In May of 2005, the Crown lays 12 more first-degree murder charges against Pickton. In June of that year, pretrial hearings begin in BC Supreme Court in New Westminster under a publication ban. In October, pretrial hearings end, and in January 30th, 2006, legal arguments begin on admissibility of evidence. And December 12th of that year, yeah, that's right, a full 12 fucking months later, the jury is finally chosen amidst warnings they could be sitting for a year or more. Pickton's trial begins on January 30th, 2007 in New Westminster, and he pleaded not guilty to 27 charges of first-degree murder in the Supreme Court of British Columbia.
So it took him a year to go from legal arguments beginning to the trial beginning.
Yes.
It took him
Yeah.
a full
Correct.
year to
because of
evidence and discovery
the
and
amount
everything.
of evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the part of the trial that took the longest was, okay,
And you got to make
piece
it
of evidence
available
number
to-
3,652.
Yeah.
This bone chip.
Here's
Is this
one
admissible?
finger.
We found it here. We did this. We did this. The defense like, here's why that's not admissible. And they have a whole trial about that before they have a trial.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In the next phase, the trial took almost the most of the year to determine what evidence might be admitted before the jury. There we go. It was the next line. Reporters were not allowed to disclose any material presented in the arguments. And on March 2nd, one of the 27 counts was rejected by Justice James Williams for lack of evidence. On August 9th, Justice Williams severed the charges, splitting them into one group of 6 counts and another group of 20 counts. The trial proceeded on the group of 6 counts, and the remaining 20 counts could have been heard in a separate trial, but ultimately were stayed on August 4th of 2010. Because of the publication ban, full details of the decision are not publicly available, but the judge has explained that trying all 26 charges at once would put an unreasonable burden on the jury, as the trial could last up to 2 years and have an increased chance for mistrial. So this judge is saying, yo, we got super strong evidence on 6 of them. One trial. We got some shit on these 20. That's another trial. So
I also think that there might be something to that as far as the sentencing phase goes.
yeah.
Because you know how they'll run like...
That's why you get like 5 consecutive life sentences.
Right,
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of concurring
and
life
the
sentences.
other 20 don't really fucking matter at that point.
Well, and it's like if one of those gets overturned, you still
Exactly.
have,
If one of them gets appealed, then you still have 5
you
that
have 4
are riding
consecutive life sentences.
on. Right.
Well, and I-
So the judge also added the 6 counts he chose had materially different evidence from the other 20. Office of Inspector General Senior Investigator R.J. McDougald was the case agent for the investigation.
That's a strong name.
I know.
I like
On
it.
this date, Pickton faced first-degree murder charges in the deaths of 6 women. To try and gain more information, they put an undercover officer into Willie's neighboring cell, knowing Willie's proclivity to talk himself up to be tough and scary. He would admit a lot to that officer, including a number. Question number 12. This is only going to score one of you guys. 250 points to the closest, 1,000 if you nail it.
Hold on. Before you continue, just so you understand the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, let's get a score update here.
It is 1,500 to 1,000, Dustin.
So, Ashley, you kind of need to nail this, and you got 3 questions left, so you for sure need to be the closest on this. Okay. Question number 12. Willie admitted to an undercover cop posing as a cellmate that he had killed how many women? So they throw an undercover cop in the next cell knowing Willie wants to, I'm fucking dope. This is what I did. And Willie says, I killed this many. All right, 250
whoever
points
is
to the
closer?
closest. Okay, Ashley said 14. Dustin said 75.
Got to do the math.
Yeah, I was say Dustin got that one.
Did he?
No.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
26, yeah. Okay. Dustin gets the 250 points because Willie admits to killing 49 women.
Oh gosh.
As of February 20th, 2007, the following information has been presented.
Wait. I didn't see that 49 women part, so hold on. Or you might have to do that math again.
75 minus 49 is 26. Mm-hmm. And what'd you say?
14.
14 to get to 49 is 30. Yeah, Dustin got it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Dustin. Okay.
No, I'm shorter. 30.
Yeah, but it's not equal
He's
distances.
26. He's 30s. Yeah, you got to be equally tied to make it that way. Okay, so as of February 20th, 2007, the following information has been presented to the court. During Pickton's trial, lab staff testified that about 80 unidentified DNA profiles, roughly half male and half female, have shown up on evidence. Now, it's not saying these people are dead, but there is 80 DNA profiles, including missing women, included in the evidence of
Just
this
imagine, not even DNA profiles, just like imagine a cup full of spit from 80 people, or different hair follicles from 80 people.
No.
Or, yeah, like
No, I'm
that's
not
just
gonna do
such
it.
a. That's such a.
I did it.
That's such a gross
You say spit cups?
or whatever,
That's
whatever you
fucking
feel like
gross.
putting in it.
So, the items police find inside Pickton's trailer of some interest are a loaded .22 revolver with a dildo over the barrel.
I call that the Loudener.
Wait. What happens when you shoot it?
You don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, buddy.
It goes.
Boxes of 357 Magnum handgun ammunition, night vision goggles, 2 pairs of faux fur lined handcuffs, Spanish fly aphrodisiac, and a syringe with 3 milliliters of blue liquid inside. Question number 13. What was in the syringe? Is it A, antifreeze, B, Kool-Aid, C, a still unknown concoction, or D, window washing fluid?
Ooh.
Antifreeze, Kool-Aid, a still unknown concoction, window washing fluid.
So the answer I was going to give isn't even on there. I was going to guess it was drain cleaner.
Me too.
See, should have
Sorry,
wrote that one
me
on there
too.
too, buddy, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe that was one of them. Maybe I'm just tricking you and it's E. Okay, Ashley
Go
says
through the answers again.
Antifreeze, Kool-Aid, a still unknown concoction, or window washing fluid. Dustin says A, as does Ashley. That's no way to get a win, because neither of you will score points. A videotape of Pickton's friend Scott Chubb saying Pickton had told him a good way to kill a female heroin addict was to inject her with windshield washer fluid.
Wow.
And this tape was shown in court of Willie being like, a good way to kill a sex worker.
No way.
Yeah. A second tape was played for Pickton in court, in which an associate named Andrew Bellwood said Pickton mentioned killing the prostitutes by handcuffing and strangling them. So Andrew, who we talked about telling that story, is videotaped in a confession and showed to Willie too. Like, hey, this guy said this about you, dumb shit. Everybody's got some things to say. Photos of the contents of a garbage can can be found in Pickton's slaughterhouse, which held some remains of a sex worker, heads, hands, and feet. The rest all went to the rendering plant, as we talked about. In October of 2007, a juror was accused of having made up her mind already that Pickton was innocent. The trial judge questioned the juror. Yep.
What a wild, what a spicy take.
The trial judge questioned the juror, saying, quote, "It's reported to me that you said that you were certain Mr. Pickton was innocent and that there was no way he could have done this, that the court system had arrested the wrong guy." The juror denied this completely, and Justice William ruled that she could remain on the jury since it had not been proven that she made the statements. On December 9th, 2007, the jury returned a verdict that Pickton is not guilty on 6 counts of first-degree murder, but is guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder. Essentially, they couldn't prove premeditation on any of them.
Yeah.
But they're good on the second degree. So a second-degree murder conviction carries a punishment of a life sentence with no possibility of parole for a period between 10 and 25 years to be set by the trial judge. On December 11th, 2007, after reading 18 victim impact statements, British Columbia Supreme Court Judge Justice James Williams sentenced Pickton to life with no possibility of parole for 25 years, the maximum punishment for second-degree murder, and equal to the sentence that he would have been imposed even if he had got first-degree murder. So it's a life sentence, no chance of parole for 25 years. Mr. Pickton's, this was from the judge. Justice James Williams. Quote,
Hey,
Mr.
that's coming up pretty soon here.
Yep.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Quote,
25?
Mr. Pickton's conduct was murderous and repeatedly so. I cannot know the details, but I know this. What happened to them was senseless and despicable. So,
Yeah.
yep.
That's a fair assessment.
Can you give me a score update? Does Ashley have a chance to win
It is
without
17
a stabbing question?
It is 1750 to 1,000 right now.
Dustin, you are going to be the winner today, regardless of how this
Poop.
question goes.
No, because isn't a stab worth
Poop.
1,000?
There is no stab on this question. Sorry.
Why do you gotta break my heart already?
Well, I don't want to.
Okay.
I mean, do you want to allow her to stab? How about that?
I got no problem with it. It seems like
Yeah.
a question that stabbing
Yeah,
is
okay.
reasonable on.
Make it interesting.
Okay.
Not like I've ever won
Question
before.
number 14. In what year did Willy Pickton die?
You don't get the multiple choice. You just got to guess.
Okay, Dustin, was it 2009, 2011, 2013, 16, 18, 21, or is he still alive?
Oh, I thought you were. Oh, you didn't say. I thought we had to guess.
Well, Dustin got multiple, so you had to
Nope.
stab.
Don't change your answer. Don't change your answer. You stabbed. You got to ride it out.
Dustin says still alive, gets the points, and that's the
Damn
show.
it.
Willy
Dang
Pickton's still
it.
fucking chilling in prison, guys.
That was my question before.
So, Dustin, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first person to reach 2,000 this season.
Yep.
Wow.
So, congratulations on that.
Congratulations, babe.
And every episode contains the same amount of possible points. So, if you're the highest, not because you had like the most questions or whatever. It's because you nominated the hardest. Sorry, Ashley.
He doesn't talk so much,
beat
but he
that.
always wins.
So
no, he
beat
doesn't.
that.
He doesn't
Get
talk.
good.
He doesn't talk very much during the podcast, but he definitely can.
Why
win
say
them.
lot words when few word do trick?
Yeah, he always knows
I'm
the
listening.
answers.
That's why I answer my questions correctly. And that's
Yeah.
why I fucking won.
Hey,
Hey, you said there was no divorce on the line. Shut up over there.
no divorce on the
No.
line ever. You married us. There's
I'll divorce you, too.
How much?
stop
I'm
it.
ordained.
I will do it right now.
Stop.
Just
All right,
watch
all
me.
right, all right. Let's wrap
Never
this shit up.
happening.
Kidding.
That
Never
is the
happening.
show. Congratulations, Dustin.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
We
is
had
there
such a
anything
great
you guys
time.
want to share?
Hella cool smash on Instagram, TikTok. I'm gonna be going live soon.
Will it be on November 18th that is soon?
Maybe.
Make it happen.
Yeah, I'll make it happen.
Put-
I'll be
put
live.
the note in your phone.
I'll be live before this launches, so it'll be great. Hopefully,
There we go.
everybody
So
can
just
start
go
watching
follow
my
and-
lives. Follow my lives, TikTok, hella cool smash. Dustin, Squatch.
No, I'm good. Don't follow me. Don't look me up. I won't follow you back.
We have a mutual account, Smustin.
Oh. All right. So, all right, guys, that's the show. Please remember to rate and review it wherever you can. It really helps put us up in the motherfucking algorithms. Word of mouth is also very important, so if you've got a friend who might like us, don't be afraid to tell them. Check out all the new stuff over on serialchillerspod.com, which will tell you when we have events coming up for a show or anything on the side for Greg or myself, like Twitch streams. And even friends of the show. We're going to add some calendar dates for that. It also has a link for everything you know or need that is affiliated with the show. And I've got a few Patreon shout outs for you guys. Let me give a big shout out. Thank you to Eva H. from Denmark, Houndsman Sevion from Cochrane, Canada, Renee W. from Alberg, Chris H. from Palmetto, Amber M. from Irving, Michelle L. from Seneca, Jordan R. from Salem, Crystal V. from Concord, and Austin L. from Clovis, California.
Thank
We
you.
love you all.
Who's that?
Boom.
Yeah.
Who that is.
We love you all very much. Thank you to the Patreon patrons. You guys can go over there and give as little as $1 a month. You give us $1, we say your name. You're pretty much famous now. Again, the podcast. Greg, anything you want to end with here?
Nah. Don't feed people to people. Don't just listen.
Just eat the people by yourself.
Can't believe that guy's still alive.
What was it?
but-
Isuke Sagawa? Was that him?
Yeah.
He kept it to himself.
Yeah, he's free now, too.
I know he's just walking around doing post cannibal shit, but
Yeah.
he kept it to himself. Like Dahmer fed his neighbor a sandwich.
It's not really that cool, man.
This guy put it in hot dogs. Like, just
I'm
don't.
fine with hot dogs.
Don't feed people. That's
Not long pork hot dogs.
that's it. That's the only thing I really can say about this is just don't feed people.
Don't feed people.
I'm fine with Dustin's hot dog.
Oh, wonderful. All right, so don't feed people. Don't use this show for research. And don't talk to strangers.
Thanks, guys.
That is good. I like that.